Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
He's at the 20.
They should stop this one.
What you got? Domination, snot bubbles.
He throws, complete, touchdown. They've got him again. They've got him again. Sack Crumpler, what a throw, what a hit, what a catch.
Defense is just way too much for the count.
It's caught by Alshon Jeffrey for a touchdown. He pushes, touchdown. Jalen Hurts, touchdown. A.J. Brown, a run. He's going to score.
It's a touchdown by Nick Foles. The train is in the end zone.
Touchdown.
Torrey Smith
In for the touchdown is Jefferson. Touchdown. Jalen Hurts.
So the Eagles had their first loss to the Broncos at home in the Link, breaking the 20 out of 22 wins over the past year streak for the Birds and 11 straight wins at home. And the Birds will be facing another big test in this huge divisional matchup tonight in an attempt to bounce back from whatever the hell that was last week at the Link. And I'm going to be real here, chat. I've been torn up over this loss. Like I said in my last video, this offensive line has been subpar to begin the season. And there's been some injuries among the line that I really think should cause one of these guys to sit out in tonight's game in the Big Apple. Now, I'm going to keep it quick because we have to do our breakdown, but the Eagles threw the ball way too much after leading the Horses 17-3 throughout 4 straight quarters. Now, that was until the fourth quarter where Philly took the field with 3 straight 3-and-outs, with Jalen being sacked a total of 6 times throughout this entire game. And the Birds have had 3-and-outs on a league-high 47.2% on their offensive drives, just right with the Tennessee Titans. And we don't need to be on any list with a team that bad. Now, the 3-and-outs are frustrating, but these sacks are even more frustrating with the Birds' O-line. But the first 2 quote-unquote sacks were just Jalen running to the sideline behind the line of scrimmage, so I won't really put that on the O-line or on Jalen. That was just, I hate that they call those sacks, but sacks nonetheless.
They lead right now with 21. I'm just telling you right now, I don't know what's going on in Philadelphia's passing offense, but there's no offensive line that can protect this good for this long. Like, there isn't one. There's not one in the NFL that can do what they just did. And it's not that play. It's every play. They drop back. Like, there is no quick leaks. There is nobody getting beat. Like, this is as good as it gets to protect the quarterback. But you just can't. Like, I don't know what the heads of state, all the families that got together this week to talk about the issues, but there's no quarterback back in the league that can go read all their Snapchats, answer their texts, and make these kind of throws with this kind of time. Like, it's just unheard of. Nobody does this. There is no timing. There is no rhythm to this offense, the passing offense. I know this. If I was an offensive lineman, I'd be ticked. I'm like, you can't protect any better than that. It's one cradle of love after another. You watch this and you go, like, in this 4-man rush right here, like, honestly, Tyler Steen, he doesn't even have anything to do. Like, Toth and Malata and Lane and, like, they're all got through. I mean, this doesn't get any better. So I don't know what they talked about, but you can't hold the ball like that and expect these guys to hold up.
Now, don't get me wrong. I think Hurts was dealing. He held on to the ball way too long for way too much, but he was dealing, and that is what Jalen does. He holds on to the ball a little bit. He gets sacks a little bit, but he most likely deals behind that great wall of blockers. And Hurts threw for 280 yards, no interceptions with a QBR of 100 on the top 5 defensive line, if you ask me. Now, as I've said, we threw the ball entirely too much, handing the ball off to Barkley just 6 times. And I know everybody can't stand that stat, but last week we were crying for the offensive staff to let Hurts just throw the ball, let it rip, and he did. So I really don't understand the confusion. A coach can only work to the team's strength, and as of now, the strength of this football team is passing the ball. The offensive line has to set up the blocking to begin with for the running back to be able to get yards down the field. If that's not going well, if that's not working, then you have to just pass the ball until you're able to get those run yards. Last year, we were able to keep going at it and keep going at it and keep hitting the rock, keep running the rock. But that was only because we had a great offensive line. Mekhi Becton was there pulling. And I don't think him just leaving is the reason why this offensive line is taking a step back. I just think that there's injuries. And even though Barkley hasn't gotten much rushing the ball, I don't think he's looking to have another 2,000-yard season. Like, you know, I think he's looking to have more like 20 touchdowns, because now, looking at how we've been using Barkley this season, he's been a key weapon catching the ball out of the backfield. And even this Jalen Hurts check where Barkley caught this touchdown out of the backfield for a big touchdown last Sunday, I still think Barkley is being used not to his fullest extent rushing it, but he's still a key weapon in running the ball. In catching the ball out of the backfield. Now, that's not to say we should be okay with Barkley only getting 6 runs. You still have to figure this out. 6 rushing attempts is not going to cut it at all. More like 15, 20, 23, somewhere in that area. You have to keep it balanced. We talked about this going into the NFL season, that we thought Patullo was going to bring a very much more balanced offense to this season, running the ball and passing. But blocking has been bad. I just have to say it. The blocking on this offensive line has just been horrible. Because it's now going on 6 weeks straight that Saquon hasn't had a game where he's broken for over 100 yards yet. And again, the Birds have to get this offensive line back healthy in order to get the run game going. Now, Barkley did show up on the injury sheet, but as he said, it was nothing, and it was really overhyped.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people started reacting because they said I wouldn't practice. None of us practiced yesterday. We just had to, because of, I don't know what reason. If you have anything, everything has to be reported. So I know the Eagles are doing what they're supposed to do, but nothing too worried about. Some general soreness, and I'm excited to go play.
Was that a factor in the game Sunday?
Yeah, I had some soreness. I don't think that's the reason why we lost, but no, nothing impacted the game.
So it wasn't a reason why we only had the 6 carries there?
No, I think a lot of things went into that. We did call a lot of RPRs, RPOs, and sometimes it don't work like that. But that's in the past. We're ready to move on. We talked about it. We learn from our mistakes, and we get ready to go play on Thursday.
And lastly, I don't like to blame the refs, but we got to be honest. They were horrible. They called a grounding foul, reviewed it, and picked it back up, so essentially missed the grounding call. The Zach Bond flag was stupid. They missed the Goddard PI, and seriously, it honestly just makes you think they had to swallow the whistle on that play because it would have put the Birds on the 4-yard line. And we know, like everyone else knows, the tush push would have been the game-winning play. But whatever, we lost is what it is. On to the next week. Got a game tonight. And Nakobe Dean, who was back at practice, probably will play tonight in the game against the Giants. Maybe not get a lot of snaps, maybe like 10, 12, who knows. But he will be back tonight, and going forward, Dean is back. Let's go. Now, last week I said that I don't truly think A.J. Brown is happy in Philly, but I also said that I could be wrong. And if I were wrong, that I would be happy to come back here and say I was wrong. And I'm beginning to feel like I was wrong after Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, and Saquon Barkley reportedly held a meeting, just those 3, for a couple of hours. And it was cool to hear Jalen address the media just a little bit about the conversation that was had.
Saquon talked about you and AJ meeting this week, and there was a report that you 3 met this week. Can you tell us about that meeting and why it happened?
Yeah, it's just us talking about the collective, talking about taking ownership for what we can, and talking about how we move forward as a team so we continue to find ways to win games.
Why the need for a meeting, do you think?
It's really just teammates being teammates.
What was your takeaway in the conclusion of the meeting?
Say that again?
What was your takeaway and conclusion of the meeting?
I don't want to make this about that, right? We got a short week. We got a division opponent coming in here. I enjoyed every second of it, and I'm enjoying every second of every opportunity we have to improve. And so that's what I've always made it about. That's what I'll continue to make it about. It's truly about the collective and what we do and the opportunities we have in front of us. And so everybody in this building just wants to take advantage of that.
What are you seeing out of the Giants defense?
I mean, they got a really good front. They've always had a really good front, starting with Dexter Lawrence. In the back end, they latch on the coverage really well, and they got really good players there too. So it's going to be a challenge, especially going into a short week.
That missed a deep shot to AJ. After getting a chance to watch it, what did you see on the play, and why do you think you guys weren't able to connect?
I think it's bigger than just one play in a game. One play in a game doesn't define the whole entire game. When I think about it this way, in the end, we had the ball as an offense, and we had an opportunity to go win the game, and we didn't. And being a quarterback, I take that very personally. I had the ball in my hands, and you know, I didn't get it done. We didn't get it done, and so it gives us an opportunity to improve, see how can we grow from that and move forward. So that's really kind of where we've been at as a team, is overall just looking at the level of detail we have, and then really like controlling the things that we can, really focusing on that. And I'd say too, like mastering the ordinary, the little things that have gotten us.
Now, I think Landon Dickerson needs to sit out for this game tonight against the Giants, in my opinion, at least until we go against the NFC North and have that matchup next week versus the Vikings. Against Brian Flores' tricky defense, Dickerson has been suffering from foot, back, and all kinds of injuries that started in the offseason. And at this point, the injury has inked into the regular season and it's starting to, I don't know how to say it, but it's really just starting to have him play horrible. Dickerson's performance from last year compared to this year just looks so different. So I think if we can get him some rest for this week's game until we go on the road to play the Vikings, Dickerson will be all right. Now, onto the defense. Kelee Ringo didn't play that bad last Sunday, which was kind of surprising. Against the Broncos, he did have a huge 2-point conversion in which I don't even think Denver's head coach Sean Payton would have even attempted to go for had we kept Isaiah Rodgers. But nevertheless, Ringo will have a chance to show out again, especially with the Giants room taking a massive hit with the injuries after Darius Slayton was ruled out in tonight's game. Now, when everyone was panicking with Nolan Smith going down with an injury and asking pass rusher, can we get one for the Birds? When we literally had one sitting on the roster behind Smith to begin with. We have to start believing in some of our guys and not look for the outside help all of the time. Sometimes it does help, but not all of the time, because Azeez Ojulari played very well like I predicted last week on Saturday's show. Now, give me about 2 or 3 more weeks of this from Kevin Patullo's inability to call plays and to make adjustments in game. I don't know. I'm going to have to start questioning this higher. And I don't know why Patullo can't figure out how to beat zone coverages versus the defense. Like, Jesus, when the defense are playing in man, the Eagles thrive. We know that. I think Philly needs to stop hiring these first-time play callers. Like, we need to go and get guys who have actually coached in this league, who have experience in this league, not even college guys. I need someone who has actually coached in the NFL, because Patullo's in-game adjustments has just been horrible. Like, how is this guy who's been a passing game coordinator for Philly and Buffalo and all of these other great teams can't scheme guys like A.J. Brown and Smitty open versus the zone? Like the Kellen Moore hire made a lot of sense because he's an actual play caller, former player also in the NFL who has experience winning games and even losing games when he had that stint with the Chargers that we all forgot about. But with the Birds, who still haven't put together a complete 4-quarter game in the first 5 weeks of the regular season, the Eagles have to get it together, because so far, Kevin Patullo's ability just calling plays and making adjustments in the game and getting the receivers to be successful, it's just been an inability in that area. Now, the Eagles have this game against the Giants. With a short week, we have to do our breakdown. Got to do our homework here, because both the Eagles and Giants are coming off of comeback losses. But there's once again a rival back in town, with Saquon Barkley playing his former team in the New York Giants in what I like to call the Barkley Bowl. Now, Saquon Barkley averaged 5.5 yards a carry on 17 carries for 176 yards with the touchdown in his last game against the Giants. And I think with everything going on with the Birds and a short week to redeem themselves, Barkley is finally going to rush for 100 yards plus and really break through the night. And this could be also a big night for the receivers, A.J. Brown as well. With all of the drama surrounding him and Hurts, A.J. Brown and our receiving core overall just usually goes beast mode against the Giants, with A.J. Brown averaging 17 yards a pass with 20 catches on 343 yards and 2 touchdowns, not even including the game against New York that the starters didn't play in last season. So a lot of these numbers could really be crazy had we played in that game last year. And Skinny Batman, who's right behind A.J. Brown, averaging 13 yards a catch with 24 catches on 310 yards and 3 touchdowns. And this goes on and on and on because Dallas Goedert has just shredded the Giants over the years, averaging 10 yards a catch with 36 catches on 383 yards. And the Giants aren't a good team, but that's not anything surprising. Like, we know they're garbage juice, but the Giants has had some spark with the rookie quarterback Jackson Dart, who debuted in a big win against the Chargers. Really had the MetLife faithful fans on a high, but last week really brought the MetLife faithful fans right back to earth because Dart turned the ball over 5 times on 5 consecutive drives, and Dart's numbers overall aren't that bad, but looking at this quarterback from the eyes of the Eagles defensive line, this looks like good food on the Eagles' plate with Dart, who has a passer rating of 73.1 from last week and 2 touchdowns but 2 interceptions. And those interceptions are definitely something that the Birds could take advantage of tonight with the Giants' offense being so depleted. And we got to get our score predictions in this week. Who do you think will win? Are you taking the spread 7.5? Or do you think the Birds will actually go into MetLife and just dominate these guys, especially with that bad taste in the mouth from the Link lost against the Denver Broncos? Let me know down below in the comments